dig their teeth into a best-of-5 grand final. Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, live from Moscow with your casters. It's Odie and Melini.
Thank you very much. This one, Evil Geniuses, Liquid here at EPICENTER. What more could you want, Ben? I mean, we've got two of the best teams in the world battling it out for $250,000. The picks coming through, Necrophos being brought up in the grand finals. It's insane, Ben.
I love that hero. Necrophos hero is very underrated, and teams have finally been exploring more and more counters to Bristleback. We saw how useful and incredible the Sven was to counter the Bristleback yesterday, and let's see if they can pull it off today, combined with the Necro. Necro, he doesn't have that much armor. I would say that's probably the only downside about him in this game, but he is very good versus tankiness of the Bristleback if you can manage to Reaper him while he's facing you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having that to cut down through what otherwise could be this beast that's impossible to bring down, as we've seen in a number of games. And again, you know, Liquid doing something else a little bit different. We have seen it before from them, but putting the Sven in the mid lane, something that no one else is really doing, Ben. But Miracle, he's comfortable on this hero in certain mid lane matchups.
And he's with the Wisp, so that makes it a lot easier. Generally versus Storm, you don't really want a melee hero because they suffer a lot because you can't ever harass the Storm. He just drops Remnant and you just get screwed badly. So looking at the live poll, what, 2-1, maybe 3-2 in favor of IG, or EG, sorry. IG? It's like, wait, EG, yeah. The exclamation point threw me off.
I was going to say IEG, but no, absolutely, yeah, slight edge for EG. I think that pretty much, I think a lot of people would agree in terms of that slight edge for EG coming into this and the runs that both of the teams have had, considering their whole group stages. You know, looking at all the games, EG arguably have played the better Dota, but Liquid have improved the most, I feel, from start to finish of this tournament.
Their odds were already quite low going into the grand finals, like getting here, right?
Getting to this final level, yeah. So Liquid are definitely going to have the momentum behind them. There is no doubt about that. And here we go, Matu bringing the Necrophos to the main stage. It really is going to be incredibly interesting to see how it goes on. And as we said, Miracle on something that he's done once, but not too common. KuroKy and GH, though, on the other hand, two hero and Mind Control. Of course, these three on heroes that they're like their bread and butter. So the Mind Control with the Darkseer, GH with the Zio, and Kuro on the Tusk that he brings back. Pretty much every game that they can, we see a KuroKy Tusk.
And every game that we can, we also see a IO on GH. We actually have not seen GH play this hero in a while because it is almost always auto-ban. But setting up for a hero like the Storm, it's going to be tough for little old GH. But I think he's one of the best Wisp players.
I definitely is. Yeah, GH has an incredible record with IO, I imagine, over the years. It's definitely one of the heroes that comes to mind as something that he's incredibly flashy on. Mid lane, already Liquid getting heavy with the harassment onto Sumail, making sure the Miracle has that easy time in the opening couple of waves, and something as you said he needs, because otherwise the Storm can cause issues for a Sven on a 1v1.
We need a poll. How many heroes does it take to shut down Sumail in lane? We have 3 right now. 3 versus 1.
And again this time the shards come through. Sumail in trouble. Quick enough for 9 as Liquid get that first blood, and that indeed seems to be the plan. Try and tilt Sumail.
I think with the Wisp in mid, there's an additional benefit of being able to stack the Ancients very easily from the mid lane. So I really do like this pairing coming up from Liquid, and Sumail is going to have a really hard time. And I also do not think that they can contest the early Ancient stack. So they have laning phase advantage, they have the mid-game farm advantage, and all things looking pretty swell for them. It's going to be up on the clockwork combined with the Crystal Maiden aura to propel EG through this early laning phase.
Zai and KuroKy trading blows there as they try and keep each other away from the middle lane. KuroKy trying to have a look at it again, does have to be careful in case another torrent comes through and does catch him out. But he'll play it safe. Zai holding onto the torrent for bigger issues. Side lanes, top lane, Universe is having an amazing time. He's 11 for 3 against the 6 for 0. It seems to be a pretty easy lane for this clock in this 1v1. Or at least Universe is showing it as to be.
The level 1 Heartstopper not really doing too much. Universe actually going for just a lot of cog burn on Matumba Man. Matumba Man, as a Necrophos, struggles a lot with mana issues, and ideally you want to be able to tether both of these heroes, Necrophos and Sven, and it's going to be a tough call for GH as to which one he wants to tether first.
And all things considered, with that pressure as well being put on the Sumail in the mid lane, overall CS is looking better for EG. All three of their lanes finding the CS at the moment. And Liquid just slightly behind. Obviously very early days and indeed very close, but a slight edge in terms of CS.
The CS is a lot of them are neutrals though for Sumail. So these are worth way less, and Sven's getting a lot of denies in the mid lane. So these two are going to be very, very high in terms of levels.
And look at this as well. KuroKy's got his eyes on Sumail. Sumail will start to salve up, and that will cause him to be a little too healthy for KuroKy to want to go in for a bit of a tickle as he heads back towards the mid lane. We'll see where else he can head to make the plays around the map. But at the moment, Zai just trying to do his best to mirror the movements of the Tusk.
They're waiting to make a move on mid lane. Wisp and Tusk are perched on the cliff left of the mid lane.
And deep with the wraparound here. They
eyes onto Zai.
Yeah. They could try and roll down upon a Miracle, trying to see if he can close the gap. And just go for a bit of a tickle here with the shards. And GH just right-clicking him down from the high ground. The torrent is not going to connect. And in fact, Zai has been spotted out. He's been taken down. Liquid with the positioning there and the ice shard trap, making sure there's no escape for the Admiral. And in fact, they're going to get this one as well by the looks of it with the Storm Hammer and the ice shards. Liquid, they're getting away with murder twice in the middle lane. Zai comes in to try and stop them, but Miracle, he's still full on mana thanks to GH. He can go in for more. Zai trying to body juke around the tree line. It's not going to be successful. There will be a TP and a Frostbite from Crit to hold back Miracle. Has he got the speed to close this down? One more touch will do it. He has the Warcry. Zai tries for the taunt, but he's not soon enough to hold Miracle back. Another kill in the middle lane for Liquid. And they're looking for Crit as well. KuroKy, has he got the mana? Has he got the control? Crit will go for a bounty rune. Can Liquid finish this kill off? Wards drop down. They have the vision. Crit looking to be in a lot of trouble as well. He'll try and hide himself here in the tree line, but Liquid surround him. Mind control comes across for a piece of the action, and Liquid pick up a 5th kill in the first 4.5 minutes. GH and KuroKy doing absolute work here in this early game.
I think this Wisp cosmetic might actually, like the non-portal one, I think it might actually have some benefits because he had DD on for almost the entirety of that early. It's really hard to tell.
Again, straight in Sumail. You can't catch a break here. The only time we really saw it slow down for Sumail was when he was just away from the mid lane into the jungle. As soon as he comes back to this middle lane, death after death because of Liquid's play.
The Wisp just speeds up on Liquid's game a lot. Like normally Sven, you don't see getting this involved this early, but
absolutely
not that many heroes can take the T1. But with the Wisp and the Warcry, things are getting out of control for EG in this early game. And they're supposed to have stronger lanes, I would say, with the Crystal Maiden, but she is not really anywhere to be found except back in the fountain after dying multiple times. And
we're seeing now that Matuma's got his levels. He's getting a clear edge against Universe's Clock in the CS. Bottom lane still definitely the best news for EG. They have Arteezy getting incredibly solid farm. He's at the top of the moment on the Bristleback, so it will all potentially start to change a little bit when EG start to bring Bristle into the fights or fight around Arteezy. That could be when we see Liquid hit a bit of a brick wall, but at the moment they're going to be so far ahead potentially with this early game that they're going to be able to climb straight over it.
Zai is in a lot of trouble.
He's got to be careful. KuroKy has that deep ward down. They've got the vision. They know where he is. They come in, trap him in the shards. Miracle being a little hesitant here. Trying to duke out the torrent will be unsuccessful. It connects. It doesn't matter though. He just moves in with the God Strength. Takes side down. Critting Universe coming in. EG trying to do their best to turn this, but the snowball's out. They've got the God Strength continuing to punch into Universe. Universe, can he escape from this? He can't. As GH picks up the killing spree. An 8th kill for Liquid. Make that a 9th. Double kill for Miracle, as Liquid are just not holding back in this middle lane. Just brutality after brutality, and in fact Zai is even safer. KuroKy and Miracle, they're still ready to fight. The shards won't block Zai. They do push him away. He has a bit of a chance to get away now, and Sumail can potentially look to try and turn or at least find a kill for the side of EG. They've got the torrent onto KuroKy. He will get bursted down, so finally EG getting themselves on the kill board, but still Liquid 9-1, 4k gold lead in the first 7 minutes of this game.
And in the meanwhile, you have this Necrophos pushing the safe lane tower. Tower's already down. And they're back.
Universe is rather deep here. He's got to be careful. They've got the Warcry trying to chase. Oh, and KuroKy with that shot. They're buying the time for them to close in. The Reaper side won't finish off the kill, but they still get it nonetheless after. 10-1. EG just can't keep up.
they've already taken down 2 of the important T1 towers as well. So EG, looking at them, what they need to do, they need to stack and farm Ancients with Bristle. I would say maybe even get him involved a little bit early on. He is going for the early Vanguard, but his team is in shambles. They are just so poor and constantly feeding.
This is just never ending.
But Liquid, they're 3 wards, 1 in close to each of the 3 lanes. They have good access point to the stack. Tusk scouted that out earlier. So there's not actually that many places for Storm Spirit to farm stacks, for Bristleback to farm stacks. Their team fight's also not particularly great. Kunkka Boat, probably their best team fight ultimate. Meanwhile, you have the potential Wombo combo with the Darkseer and the Sven.
It's very scary.
And you also have you have this Ancient stack, and then you also have good pick-off potential because of the relocate.
Yeah, these fights are going to be so hard for EG. I mean, how do EG stabilize this game and get the chance to really bring themselves back in? Is it about Sumail hitting a certain item? Who's their focus? Who's the pressure on at this stage?
I would say easily Bristle, because he's the one that hasn't been in any of these fights. He hasn't been helping out his mid lane. His tower is still up. He's the one that can do Ancient stacks, and he's the most farmed hero on the EG side. So I think they actually need to play around the Shrine. Notice they haven't used the bottom Radiant Shrine yet, and if they can take a fight around the Ancients when Bristle is already doing it with a lot of Warpath stacks up, perhaps that could be their avenue back into this game.
9 minutes in, and Miracle has the Mask of Madness and the Treads complete. 5.5k net worth. Lying up middle.
This is a big difference from some of the other games where we see Sumail get dual mid. Usually when he gets dual mid, usually they'll respond with at least 1 and Zai, and occasionally 2 heroes with Zai and Crit, both making sure that they can make sure that Sumail doesn't die this many times in the early game. But he is quite well known for Storm Spirit, and definitely should not count him out yet.
Absolutely not. There's definitely potential for EG, but it is diminishing as the game goes on at this stage. Top lane, RTZ moving himself in to contest the farm of Matsumamat. Very close to that in the Necro. Only a few hundred between the 2 of them. And in fact, straight away...
Wisp just hit 6.
Yeah.
So now they can make a move. We see a smoking coming in from Matoma, and Kuro looking up to set up a kill on the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit is level 8, so he can jump away, but with relocate,
if they scythe immediately, there's going to be no chance for the escape. Snowball into the side. They didn't even need the relocate, but they'll bring in to witness the death again of Sumail. 35 seconds out of the map.
They probably didn't know that Wisp was 6 because they don't have a good observer wards up in that Ancient area, and he took out a massive stack that GH and Miracle are already back doing right now. They might sack this T1 tower, but they're still getting more than enough farm around the map. So they're just ignoring RTC because Bristle doesn't farm incredibly fast if he's not taking down Ancients. So they're EG are forced to put Bristle back in the lanes because he's the only hero that's not going to die. But it's hurting their overall farm a lot.
EG will claim Tier 1 tower from the top, an extra bit of boost to RTZ's bank. At the same time, Liquid in return taking that bottom tower. Matsumamat, Rod of Atos first item for this Necro, so an extra bit of control that's going to be very, very hard for Sumail to play around.
Oh yeah, that is actually incredibly bad for the Storm.
Yeah. Because
as long as they kill him a few times, I think they can kite the Bristle indefinitely, and they have Warcry. So you can actually ignore the Sven or ignore the Bristle for first, 7-8 seconds of the fight and just kill everyone else. And at this point, with the farm distribution on EG, it seems like everyone else is going to die aside from the Bristle, and then they can just deal with them, kite him, wait for the stacks to fall off, and then finally take him down.
It really seems for EG to have a chance of winning a fight, it's got to be about the pickoffs. Just in any situation where there's full 5 heroes on both sides, the maths just doesn't check out for EG. They haven't got the damage or the control to out-sustain. In fact, Kuroki going in with a very deep dive. The torrent will be there to hold him back, but Miracle, brought in by GH, will find the kill. The boat comes through only to connect onto Mind Control. And Miracle, the rest of the God Strength, moves down towards the bottom tier 2 as Liquid are able to claim another. In fact, they want to try and defend the top tier 2. EG were pushing in, but RTZ left around already too low. Takes a Reaper side to the face. The Snowball there is catch for the freezing field, and Liquid just won't give Evil Geniuses a break.
I think Tusk is actually really good versus Bristle. I think the panel talked about the Sven and the Necrophos, but the Tusk is pretty good because with the shards, you actually force him to turn back into you.
That's true.
That's what we just saw there. He sharded him at the tower, and what are you going to do? Stay in the shards for the entire duration? You have to turn back into the enemy team so that you can run away. And that brief second that he was faced towards the dire base, he gets reapered in the face. That's painful. Your most farmed hero gets reapered and just makes quick work of.
What an incredible start for Liquid. This is, well, it's got to be one of the biggest leads we've seen this early on in the game here at Epicenter. 14-1, 13 minutes in, 9K gold lead.
9K gold lead for 9K players.
Absolutely. Liquid showing us how to well and truly deal with the Bristle. Just focus on crushing the mid lane in the early game and having this Necro now at this stage where, because you have this lead, it's relatively easy to bring Arteezy down to the threshold where he's going to pop under Aretha's size.
And he's not that tanky. All he really has is just a bunch of small items, Vanguard being the significant one, but Vanguard, damage block versus God Strength, not really blocking a whole lot there percentage-wise.
See what they can find here, Arteezy. He's got to be careful. Liquid with the full 5-man ready to fight. Can EG do something big to turn this side? He's going to be the one to be opened upon. Is he going to get Tusk, get anything out? He will get out the torrent. Hold back Miracle and Kuroki, but the upright Atos is there, controlling Arteezy. Sumail trying to zip in to take down GH, but GH is kept alive. The snowball comes back in for Kuroki. The Reaper's size there. Sumail's out. Arteezy down as well. EG, they've lost 3. They're going to lose even more. Crit tries for the freezing field, but Miracle picks up the triple kill. And Liquid fighting for taking the tier 2. Ben, this game may even be over.
Yeah, time to push high ground. I like the Wisp and Necro pairing a lot too because Necro actually keeps your Wisp alive. That's one of the worst parts about playing Wisp is everyone focusing you down. As you saw in that fight, they try to kill the Wisp, but Necro is really good at protecting his little ball buddy.
How do you stop this push? 14 minutes in, losing a tier 3. The leg smart Miracle back, but he doesn't mind. He knows he's got the backup. Easy escape. Now they have the mech complete on mind control. More and more items coming together to fuel Liquid's push to the high ground, which at this rate could come again in very shortly. Taking down the shrines. Evil Geniuses. What's their plan? They finally get that hood finished up on Arteezy, so at least now he can remain a little alive, but there's so much to go around that. The God Strike from Miracle. Even at this stage, the punch from Kuroki.
I think like Sven right now is just, he's pretty much like a Bristlebag in that he just does tons of damage and incredibly difficult to kill. And he's being more of a Bristle Boss than Bristle Boss is.
It seems, you may have complained about the Bristleback pickers, but now it's the Necro Sven pickers you've got to be worried about. These guys coming in with the answers. Kuroki with the stats. And now again with the smoke. Heading across, Arteezy is trying to get a break here, farming a big ancient stack, but he may just lose his life and not get anything out of this. Miracle straight up to the high ground. The snowball closing in. Crit will try to TP over to the shrine, but Arteezy's already dead, and now Crit, he's in trouble as well. They'll drag him back with the vacuum. A couple of hits, a crit and a punch, and Crit is gone. They'll take the ancients as well. I don't know, man. This game 1 of the grand finals of Epicenter, and it's got to feel pretty good for Liquid and pretty bad for Evil Geniuses.
So this fight, they take out the only team fighter that they have immediately at the start. And GH he has Warcry to bump him up, he has the Death Pulse to heal him up, and he also has a Surge. I think he gets all 3 and the Urn. So there's very little way of killing him. This is just dirty.
I mean, it's straight back into the action in the middle lane. Zai getting caught out at the base. 16.5 minutes in, the melee rack's in trouble. EG, have they got any hopes here, holding with just the 4 of them? Minimal items that they've been able to build up in comparison to how stacked Liquid's heroes are, and there we have it. The vacuum combo comes through. Universe will try and hold them back, but Crit's already fallen. The blade mallet doesn't matter. They fight through it, take him down as well. Arteezy gets smacked in the face by a hefty uppercut from Kuro, and it's game over. It really is. 70 minutes in, 24-1, an absolute beatdown for Evil Geniuses as Liquid, smiles on their face, and absolutely warranted. What a way to start the grand finals for them. An incredible just follow through of the momentum.